Get ready with me today. It's another morning. All right, another day. Hopefully if you're watching this, you're doing well. And if you're not alone. Last night was an absolute struggle. Last couple days, I've been staying home with a sick kid. And I hate that my kid is sick, but I got a taste of freedom. I'm going back to work today and it's hard. It's hard. My kid just went to daycare for the first time for the last, couple weeks. She's been going, and there's just germs everywhere there. Kids getting sick all the time. We knew this was par for the course, but she got like a back-to-back virus kind of thing. She was coming up and then it got bad again. So I had to stay home with her for the last 2 days, and it wasn't easy, but I loved it. I love staying home with my kid. I love taking care of my kid. And man, I feel almost guilty going back to work. And it's just tough. It's tough making it these days because, on one hand, you want to be professional, you have to make money, but there's something about just leaving my kid in somebody else's care. And she's not 100%. Like, I'm not gonna lie. We have to go back to work. We have to do our thing, and she doesn't have a fever. It's just a little cough and it's just sniffles. But it feels terrible taking her back to daycare because all I want to do each and every day is just take care of her. And it's not easier to take care of a kid than it is going to work, like whatsoever. It's not easier. That's the furthest thing from the truth. It's probably twice as hard, but for some reason, at least I love it personally. And I think a lot of people talk about having kids and what it's like to have kids, and a lot of people look at it like they look at their job. But in your job, of course, no one wants to really go to their job. I mean, there's a lot of people who probably love their job, but there's many more people who just go to make their paycheck, make their money, and get out of there as fast as possible. But the difference between work or having a job and having a kid is, at least for me, and this is my experience, some people don't like kids, and if you don't like kids and don't want kids, I'm not telling you to do that whatsoever. But when you go to a job, there's like so much stuff that's just nonsense that you hate doing. Even in the best jobs I've had, I've never been to an all-staff meeting where like anybody wanted to be there. It was just something that everyone felt like they had to do. And even the people running the meeting, it seemed like they didn't want to be there. And there's reports that you have to make and things that you have to do that you feel like, why are we doing this? This is meaningless. This is such a joke. And in parenting, it's really different because there's not a single thing that you do that doesn't feel worthwhile and doesn't feel meaningful. I mean, changing a diaper is not a fun task. It's not something that you enjoy. But at the end of the day, that's going to keep your kid healthy, keep your kid safe, and that's just what you have to do. And no one's changed a kid's diaper and thought, oh, I shouldn't have had to do this, or this was pointless, or this was meaningless. And even like waking up in the middle of the night, I think a lot of people, before they have kids, they fear like, man, am I just going to hate this? And is this going to be overwhelming, getting up in the middle of the night and taking care of my kid? But I've never popped out of bed faster than I do at 2:30 in the morning when my kid's crying or my kid's coughing and I need to get up and take care of them. There's nothing in me that's like, oh, okay. And I let them scream for 45 minutes before I finally get out of bed. That's not the case whatsoever. I love taking care of my kid, and it's important to me, and it's valuable. So I think the main difference, and I think what people can't understand about kids until they have kids, is that every part of the job has a purpose, it has meaning, and there's just obviously the, biological or evolutionary things inside of you that make you want to do that thing. So, I don't know, that's just been my experience with being a parent. Or that's just been, I guess, some of the things that have been interesting to me and some of the perspective things that have switched my perspective on parenting as a parent. And I think there's a lot of people who are scared of what it's going to be like and scared of the work, but I don't think any of us find happiness or purpose or meaning in just being lazy. Like, yeah, you want to sit on the couch on a Saturday morning and drink your coffee and doom scroll Instagram. But is there a lot of joy in that? I don't know. I think there's a lot more joy and purpose in doing something meaningful and important. And being a parent is the most important thing you do in your life. Now, I hope you guys know that if you don't like kids and don't want kids, I'm not going to shame you whatsoever. There are people who don't have kids, and that doesn't change anything about their value or their self-worth. But I think for a lot of people, the idea of having a kid is really scary because you think, what am I going to do when the going gets tough? But at least in my experience, you do it. But last night was brutal. Going back to work, I feel a little bit of guilt and a lot of, I don't want to do this, because man, taking care of my kid is the thing that I love. And we had a brutal night. I mean, we're exhausted. My kid's still sick and she has a cough, and felt like every 2 to 3 hours she would start coughing and then crying. You have to get up and hold her and get her calmed down, get her back to sleep, and that takes like 30 minutes. Then we had to put her back down, and 2 hours later she's back up again. So I'm just trying to get through the day. So if you're just trying to get through the day, guess what? I am too, and we're all gonna make it. So I think the purpose of this conversation and these conversations I have with you guys, or maybe it's just you, is to share a little perspective, share a little bit of my experience that maybe other people can connect to, and spread a little bit of positivity and spread that idea that it's tough, but we're all gonna make it. So that's my day, that's my morning. We're ready to go, and I'm gonna crawl through it. Peace. Like and subscribe, comment. Love y'all.